Now we're streaming.
I gotta get my emo hair just right.
Get your emo hair just right, man. Gotta get it right.
There you go.
There we go.
That's the man I married.
That's the Peter Parker that I know. Get that Andrew Garfield out of here.
Welcome. Wait.
You both suck.
Hello and welcome to the Pixel Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Ethan.
Andrew Garfield. Oh, hey, what's up? Hey, guys.
No, he gone. Yeah. Ricardo's here as well.
Tom Holland.
He's back in. He's hot. He's Tom Hotland. That's what I call him.
Have you guys
Denver, who's your favorite Peter Parker?
Tobey Maguire.
All right. That's why I got the hair like this today.
Yep.
You gotta watch the Onion review of Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's pretty good. Just let you know, it's pretty good. It's a good review.
Spider-Man: Homecoming is pretty good.
It is.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
But I should see it because I like Spider-Man.
It's one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Michael Keaton, very good in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's in that.
There was a really good ClickCall article speaking of the Onion, which is just like these are our favorite Rupert Grint gifts that everyone should stop talking about so much. everyone's really talking about those a lot.
Yeah, I like the one that is like 4 times the fox in Splash Mountain talked directly to me and told me he was gonna marry my dad.
Man. Crazy. We can't get away from Disneyland every episode. We gotta bring it up.
Gotta talk about Disneyland. Gotta talk about Great Overlords.
It's the secret Mickey of this podcast. Is find our secret Disneyland discussions that we sneak into every episode.
Yes,
Disney doesn't
exactly.
pay us. It's just free. Totally.
Speaking of which, I just recently rewatched Hercules.
Hercules.
Because of reasons. I watched Hercules and I watched the live action Beauty and the Beast.
last
week.
The live
I
action
did both
Beauty
of
and the
those
Beast.
in the past couple months.
Yeah, I met some people that really like that live action Beauty and the Beast.
It's bad.
It's okay.
No, it's bad.
It's okay.
No, it's fine. It's just there's no reason for it to exist because it's like literally very faithful to.
But all the character designs are so
like
ugly.
With a
Except
couple,
for the
with a couple
parts that
things,
they have to like explain, like they're like, well, this didn't make sense in the cartoon, so we clearly have to explain why this happened.
I thought that the Be Our Guest scene was pretty well done.
It was alright.
It was in one room. It was
I remember thinking Ewan McGregor doesn't do a great French accent.
No, he doesn't.
Right.
And I like him as an actor too.
I will say,
I remember Gaston is the only good thing about
Gaston's the good thing.
Oh yes.
About that live action one.
Yeah.
Gaston they made better. That's like they made, but also they made him like not a horrible person until like almost all the way through the movie, and then it's like now I'm bad.
Yeah, it was kind of like he was just a kind of a full of himself guy a little bit, but not even that bad until he's like, and now I'm gonna be evil.
Man, he's been to the war. He's been to the war. His head is like messed up.
Also, Emma Watson's terrible in that movie.
See, Emma Watson. I don't think you need to put the addendum there. Like, I think she's a likable person, and therefore it comes through in a lot of her performances. But she's not a good actress.
She's not.
She does.
She can't sing in like any of the. Why the rest? She can't sing.
This is her acting. Yeah, I'm sorry. It doesn't come through in the audio, but basically I'm moving my eyebrows and furrowing.
I can't remember if it was. I think Nat said the same thing about her.
Yeah.
When you watch the Harry Potter movies, like you can't, once you notice her eyebrows, you can't ever stop looking at her constantly. Like the eyebrows are all that Hermione is ever doing in those movies.
The Beast was cool, but
yeah,
then I was like, man, this guy's so not hunky after he becomes the
That's accurate. That's accurate then. That's shot for shot.
You're right.
You guys are the worst. I literally laughed out loud when he like turns into the human.
But the human's the best. He's the guy from Legion. He's so good.
Oh.
Yeah, but the actor's cool, but that just like...
But yeah, he doesn't fit. It just is like, okay.
I think Emma Watson is a cooler like political figure than she is an actress in a lot of ways. I think she's got some pretty cool things she stands up for. But
Kevin Kline's in there.
Yeah,
Hercules. That's such a weird Disney.
It's a weird.
Like, it doesn't feel like a Disney movie in a lot of ways.
It's like it's up there. It's like not. It's not quite at the level of Emperor's New Groove, which is like the movie that everyone forgets is a Disney movie. But like it is definitely close.
But like Emperor's New Groove is like different in a way that it's like it's a very like kind of goofy, like very loose comedy, whereas Hercules is like obviously a lot of the stuff is played for laughs, but it's like there's like a lot of weird like sexual stuff in there, like for a Disney movie. There's like just like there's not like a really full like character arc necessarily. Like Hercules doesn't really change. He's always just the same kind of guy. It's just that like, oh, now
it's mostly like Meg that gets a character. It's Meg, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the lady.
Great songs though. Great songs.
Hey, you know what's also a great movie that I watched the other night? That's a Disney movie. Since we're talking about Disney, is Princess and the Frog. That movie's great, and
I like Princess and the Frog a lot.
Okay.
No, it's so good. I watched it again. It's even better now. It's so good.
I can't remember a thing about it.
It has some good songs. Although when you remember it's written by Randy Newman and you start listening to some of the lyrics and the way that it goes, it's like, yeah, this is totally, you could hear Randy Newman singing the song.
But that villain song is like the greatest thing.
The villain is pretty weak.
What? The villain's the best.
He's very stylish, and he's voiced by Keith David, but he's not
acted really well. He's got a cool song. He looks cool. He doesn't do anything else other than like the one thing that like where the prince gets turned into the frog part. But other than that,
he's just the main. He just does the whole plot point.
It's in the title.
So are you saying the fucking old hag that turns the beast into the beast, like
she's not the villain. She's not the main.
Yeah, but I'm saying like by Ethan's logic, that's like they're basically the same thing.
Yeah, I mean by my logic. That's right. That's right. All right, guys. We should probably talk about video games sometime.
No, Princess Frog is great.
Our Disney movie review podcast is fun.
You know what's a great Disney movie? Pirates of the Caribbean. Curse of the Black Pearl.
And none of the others.
I sure do like Pirates.
It's pretty good. It's all right.
Dude, we need to get on with the video game discussion before you make me mad here.
I don't want to get mad either.
Wait, do you do you hate it or do you like?
No, that movie's great.
Good, thank God. I was just about to disown you both.
Only the first one though.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I guess that's what I was talking about. Is it the first? Like, the series is not.
No, the series is not good.
I would say, in fact, the series is bad because there are way more bad movies in that series than there are good. There's really only the one good movie.
Yes.
In that series.
As a Pirates of the Caribbean expert, all this is.
Amber is an expert. She has watched that movie a lot of times.
That's true.
Sea of Thieves. Video game that came out this week.
Speaking of Pirates.
They didn't license it at all.
Actually, the song is "Fly the Valkyries," and
you guys only heard that a couple of times, though, right?
Oh, only a few times.
Ricard, did you ever actually watch us play the game, or did you just?
Yeah, no. I was just, at some point, I was just like sitting back and watching him play. Though I wasn't like. in chat.
Ricardo, I feel like your computer could definitely run that game because like Amber's computer is like a laptop basically, and it can run it. So.
Hey, how dare you insult my computer?
It's a powerful laptop, but it's
So is it a laptop or is it basically a laptop?
It's basically a laptop.
Basically a laptop.
Gotcha.
It's not Mac, but
so yeah, I watched you guys stream that. And the first hour or so was
like an hour and a half.
It's about
an hour, were just sitting in the lobby and swapping being the leader and getting kicked out because the servers were fucked.
Graybeard.
This was on Monday night, which was like the midnight launch, so to speak. We were playing it at like 9 p.m., but you know, it was like the way the time changes work. So yeah, it was it was like an online game at launch. Which is to say that it didn't work very well.
Yep.
But then we got in, and that was fun. And you can see that moment onwards on our YouTube page.
Yep.
Because Ethan and all of us, to be fair, squealed in delight.
It finally let us in.
Our reaction was maybe the best part of that.
Wow, that's a real bad
glowing review. So yeah, actually, so tell me what you guys do in Sea of Thieves and how are you guys liking it?
So you know pirates?
Yeah,
you do pirate stuff. You do pirate stuff.
You wouldn't pirate you wouldn't steal a car.
Yes, I would in Sea of Thieves.
Oh.
It was a car. This game, this game is very, very simple.
Yes.
I think that is what most of the criticism online is currently coming from. Is that is.
It's a little bit shallow.
It's shallow is definitely the right word for it. I think
shallow.
It's wide, shallow.
Guys,
the seas aren't deep. They are.
I was gonna say you certainly sailed into some shallows.
Yeah,
The
sure.
first thing that we did on our boat,
Yeah.
as a group of 4, was to sail directly into an island. So much so that we could not get our boat.
We like Austin Powers our way.
Yeah, until the game just finally went. You know what? This boat's done, and just like, while we were still standing on it, it just disappeared, and then we just had a new boat. We get teleported to a new boat from the mermaidman. Ethan, what are your thoughts?
So my thoughts are, I like the game. I think it's fun. I think it's.
I do too.
I think the relaxing. It reminds me kind of like how I imagine No Man's Sky to kind of be a little bit more, or how I wanted No Man's Sky to be, where it's like
more pirates.
It's more pirates and
more boats.
There's more boats
and less space.
But the aspect of you're just kind of chilling out, man. You're just kind of going from place to place. But like,
fun.
but like, I like No Man's Sky where it's single player, which is kind of less fun. Like unless you're into that. But most people kind of enjoy getting up to shenanigans with other people.
Yeah.
So I think that changes it.
It really does change it a lot when you have a friend who's like, get this cannon, I'll shoot you into the sky. It's like, wee. Like
that sort of stuff's fun, and just being able to encounter people randomly is like a whole like, ooh, this is like a whole little twist.
That first night, I think, because the servers were so
we didn't find
up that I think that like they were just either not enough people online, or they had done some sort of like, we're not gonna matchmake people because we're just like not able to do that right now.
Which is fine.
Here.
We're just turning on fire. But yeah, I mean, I just look at the game though, and in an era where we have so much progression and like little carrots on sticks, that's like, oh man, if I do this, like especially coming out of Monster Hunter, and then going to this game, which is like the complete opposite, where it's just like, I don't know, do whatever you want. Like there's literally no tutorial when you walk in. Like it would almost be, if it wasn't for you knowing everything, Matt, and us playing the beta before, we had another person with us, and she was like, how do you know to do this stuff? And we're just like, oh, we played it before. And it's like, she's right. There's no other way to really know how to do, like how to start a quest. You have to put it on the board.
By yourself, like, I don't know how you would have known to do any of that.
Yeah.
Even just like managing the ship, you wouldn't know how to like.
Yeah, and
stuff.
I know that's like the cool thing about like games nowadays is like, oh man, obscure things and have the player find it out a little bit. Like that's kind of like joy of like Monster Hunter, where it's like, oh cool, I found out like what decorations do and how they're important and when I unlock them, blah blah blah. But like it comes up with like a vague tooltip and kind of like points you in that direction a little bit. And then you go do it, and you can find out more about it by looking online and whatever, like affinity statuses and all that garbage on Monster Hunter. But then you go to Pirates, or not Pirates.
Garbage, huh?
I was gonna call it Pirates of the Burning Sea. Sea of Thieves.
Pirates of the Burning Sea. Sid Meier's Pirates of the Life.
And it just gives you nothing. Like it's like you don't even. I didn't know this. You would never know if there was 3 factions unless you walked into them. You didn't know how to respawn back in. You don't know what the consequences are for dying. You don't know. Literally anything. You can't even know. And the fact you can't create a character is also kind of a weird choice.
Yeah, they just randomize your character.
So I'm torn because I do like it, and I was watching a stream today from Waypoint, and Austin was playing, and the first like 20 minutes of this stream are him rolling the character over and over and over again to find his guy that he wants.
Yep.
And he talks about it a lot though, because he says like he actually really likes the concept because it encourages and shows kinds of people that you would never play, that you would not never maybe, but like people wouldn't play as often.
Right.
If you could create the character wholesale yourself, there'd be like a million white dudes.
True.
But like the game offers you like a bunch of like fat people, a bunch of like old people, a bunch. Well, that's like a bug I think that they're talking about addressing. That there's like a bunch of old people every time you roll.
I like it.
And Ethan shows a really old dude, and
cool.
And there's like more people of color, and there's like women that like are like larger that you don't know. Like most video games are just like women are like hourglass figure only, and that is like it. But there's like a bunch of like different kinds of things. But then he also said he spent 20 minutes. He's spending 20 minutes, you know, re-rolling his character. He's like, well, this guy's like the kind of guy I want, but he doesn't have the right face. And now I like, and this guy is like got like
you should be able to do like you should do like minor tweaks or something like that to kind of cut
they can let you favorite like oh, I like this one so far. So you can keep on rolling and keep one or
yeah. So I like the idea of not having complete customization. You should have like a little bit like
I agree. I think that it's got a cool idea behind it. I think that was why they decided to do it that way and not do a character creator. But
that's also weird and like not explained at all. Like it's just kind of like
you can't. And if you delete that character, you delete all the progress too. So like everything that you like, which is not that much, but like you do have faction rep and stuff like that. And
I was gonna say like, and you delete the you do gain progress, but it's all kind of cosmetic. Like it's you get like you get a cool tankard, and it's like, what does this do different? Nothing. It just looks cool. Which, you know,
even if you could like find that cosmetic stuff, it'd be neat. But you can only buy it.
Yeah.
You can only like make money off quests and then go to the store and buy it. You can't even like find a chest out in the wild that has.
It's tough though because I want there to be progression, but there's no good balancing act of how to like make that where I'm like, oh cool, we get a bigger ship. It's like, nah, you always get the same ship. It's
all the PvP stuff, right? Like if you get better attack values and your ship gets extra cannons, then now you're gonna roll over and crush every noob who like shows up. Like,
and they already have griefing issues in that game, like from the beta anyway. I don't know if they might have fixed it by now.
I haven't seen it in person, but I mean, I imagine there's not much stopping you from just parking your ship on a, you know, like on one of the outposts that people spawn in on, and then like just killing anybody that shows like that just happens to show up.
Like, I don't know. That's it's weird. I like the game, but I definitely can see myself falling off it pretty quickly.
I think that's. I mean, and it's a weird thing because it's a lot of what modern video games have kind of taught us not to be like, in terms of like games like Destiny, games like Monster Hunter are all about getting invested in your character, collecting all the stuff and progressing with your character and showing it off and being like, this is whatever. So like, what kind of like permanence is there in a game like Sea of Thieves? Like, does your boat stick with you and there's upgrades?
I mean, not the cosmetic upgrades will stay with you.
Yeah, yes. Like they'll stay with your character.
Yeah, you can get new clothes, new hairstyles.
But it doesn't change the gameplay at all.
Are you like having to like put that back on every time you come back?
No. I don't know yet. I don't think so, but I think they save to your character. Yeah.
But it's also, even the cosmetic stuff is very basic and surface level. Like there's just like there are like.
You could change your sails. You could change the thing on your thing. The what's that headpiece called? Where the mermaid goes on the front of the ship. You know.
The
hood ornament.
You can change your little Mickey Mouse ball, the antenna.
For that, yeah. The prow, like that's the prow of the ship. I don't know what the thing is called.
It does have a name.
But like Amber was saying, it's very surface level. It's very much like.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that I wish.
Figurehead.
There you go.
I wish there was something like. Maybe Team Fortress style of progression, where it's like, or old Team Fortress 2, where they have kind of guns that do different things. So it's like, okay, I got these cannons now that shoot stuff that's really good at tearing up sails, but that's about it, and it does really poorly against hull, but it's really good at stopping people, or something like that. Like some kind of like adjacent things you can unlock that change things up. Like there's those 4 different weapons that you can get. There's the sniper rifle, the blunderbuss, the pistol, and then you get the sword. Maybe put some other weapons in there, you know, balance them, make them all the same, make them unlockable. But it's like, I get them all at the beginning. That's cool, I guess, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they had an ambitious goal of like, well, no matter who you are and how long you've played the game or what friends you're with, you'll always be able to jump in and not be behind.
That's cool.
I saw a comment that was like, yeah, I got Monster Hunter 2 weeks after it came out, and all my friends were high rank, and so I couldn't really play with them, so I just stopped playing because they were all doing stuff that I could not even do.
That's fair.
And I didn't want to play myself. So it's like, I get the idea. That was their idea. But I agree that there needs to be, something.
It couldn't be as simple as just better cosmetics. Like right now, like there's only there's 4 sets of there's 4 categories that the cosmetics fall into for everything, for weapons, clothing, items, whatever. And it's like the Admiral, Sea Dog, other ones, and it's like that's fine, but if people are still playing this game in a month, everyone's gonna have the same coat, the same hat, because there's only
there's not many
to choose from.
Well, on top of that, I wish, and one thing is those items are hard to get. Like they cost a lot of gold, and the gold isn't the easiest to come by. Certain things are easier to buy. Yeah. But if they had any sort of progression in it, they could just make it really hard. They could make it you have to get 500,000 gold and you get a boat that has an extra sail on it or something. I don't know, something minor, but something that at least give you oh man, that'd be super cool if I had that. And it won't give you too much of an advantage, just a little bit, or something it just kind of nudges people so that way people can still jump in and pop in and still have a good time.
Yeah, I saw another suggestion that you have abilities that would be helping the team, somebody who could lay down a crate of ammo since people run out of ammo. Having it be class based possibly of you know what I mean? If you have a 4-person ship, then you have one guy who can bring extra ammo. One guy maybe who has a different gun than somebody else.
Yeah.
Because they have it available to everyone, then it's difficult because there's no real, like you said, progression. It's just building up your rep to get more money to buy better, cooler looking stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Even with all these criticisms, which I 100% agree with, I still really enjoy the just chill out nature of the game. And I really enjoyed the just 4 players and we're dicking around in this boat. And Amber and I had a great experience last night when we played because
we played just the 2.
We played just the 2 of us on a smaller boat.
Which, let me tell you, is way easier to freaking navigate than
the big boat is tough. I think it's cool, but it is.
You guys so panicked so many times on that stream because somebody was turning the wheel and then somebody else was giving instructions and then there was some kind of miscommunication, so a third person would jump in and be like, no, you're going too far this way, and then the person behind the wheel would be like, no, I'm already corrected that way, and then the other second person would say some other instructions, and it's just I was getting so anxious because this was after you guys had already beat this.
Oh God.
Because it's oh my God, what the fuck are they gonna run into? 3 or 4 different people shouting instructions. What's going? Because it was Ethan's perspective, and he was behind the wheel, so he was just
I couldn't see anything.
he couldn't see anything.
I really love that part of it, though. I think that's great.
I agree. I like that part too. Yeah, it's a fun.
Sailing the ship is great. The game looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a very pretty looking game.
Beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
The water is amazingly the sunsets and the clouds all look great.
The lighting effects and the water are definitely the highlights of the game, and the art style, it's very cohesive, looking realistic yet having kind of a cartoony objects and everything.
Yeah, and the fun part about just doing different tasks on the boat, that's cool. Person steering can't see at all.
And a lot of the little flavor things that go a long way, just being able to ring the bell and having that nice sound. It's all the little things they put in.
Dancing and playing the concertina.
All those little things really add to that experience of okay, we really are a bunch of pirates sailing along these seas, and ding ding, I'll ring the bell and all this
That's
it's
what
just
real pirates did.
It's fun. It's just got such a good fun vibe going for it.
Even just the idea of when you guys are raising the anchor and all you guys were on the little wheel to raise the anchor, cool little moments like that. But even watching that small bit, I couldn't help but feel but what else is there? What else is there to do? What else are you guys doing after you do this?
So I will say this: once you rank up with the factions more, Amber and I ranked up to rank 5.
Most of them.
On all 3 of them.
Wow. No, not
there's one more we have to do. But once you rank up to rank 5, you get to unlock different missions.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they are.
Well,
I don't know how different they are. I will say they are more difficult versions of the same things, is what I imagine they are.
They also have that big scary skull cloud out there you could sail to. So
you can sail those. Those are like more dangerous.
And you could fight people. Like maybe you just want to go around and kill dudes. I don't know.
So here's what I'll say. So Amber and I had a really great time last night, specifically at this one part, because we the first night there was nobody on the siege because I think, again, the servers were just borked. Yeah. But on Tuesday night,
we ran into two different.
We ran into several. We didn't run into several people, but we saw lots of people on the ocean. We could see lots of boats going around. And we ran into two different groups. The first group we ran into, and Ethan and I remember the story like this, which was just we got back to the outpost after we'd gone some quests, and we had a bunch of stuff with us. It's oh crap, there's a boat sitting right there. Yeah. And we were like, all right, grab our stuff, let's try and sell this really quick. And we got on, and a guy walked up to me, he's just I'm like, oh shit, and he's like, hi, he's just waving at me, and I'm like, sweet, and I sold my stuff, and I was they're all playing music together in the square, and then we all decided to play music with them, and then we were everyone was running around, dancing and stuff like that, and it was really fun. And then later, we were on a delivery quest to deliver some chickens, and I was like, let's go to this other island, way over here, and it's oh wait, the delivery quest is actually for a different island, and we went really far out of our way. And at this island, there was also a ship that there was
4 people.
I was they pulled up behind us after we were already there. And I was like, okay, so we got these 2 chickens. I got this extra treasure chest that I've got that we already had. So we realized we can't deliver the chickens here because it's the wrong island. But let me try and cash in this treasure chest while we're here. And they started shooting at me straight away.
No.
So I juked around them. I ducked in the water and was swimming and trying to hide from them. And they were running all over the island trying to find me. Yeah. And then I eventually got killed. And I dropped my treasure chest. So they'd taken it from us. And then we got in the boat. And we're fine, we're getting the hell out of here. We can't sell these chickens anyway. And then we rolled past their boat, which they were not on because they were on the island still. We shot a bunch of cannons into their boat as we were leaving.
Nice.
We had the way smaller boat. They had the 4-person boat, and we had the 2-person boat.
The sloop.
So we're all right, let's get out of here. And after we shot into their boat, of course, they decided to start firing back at us. So they got onto our boat. They were firing at us. We outran them. But then they started chasing us. Cut us off.
Oh no!
Alongside us again. And what I did was I just spun the wheel all the way, turned around, hit the anchor. And the anchor just fell, and we did a handbrake turn, basically, and just, skidded around until we were facing the complete opposite direction, and we were behind them. And then, they couldn't steer, their big, giant boat couldn't steer fast enough to, get to where we were, and we completely juked them. Yep. And it was, this most awesome feeling ever of, they were, shooting at us and everything, and we just, it was a really great, narrow escape, because they would have, there was 4 of them. They would have killed us if they got on the boat, and they had way more cannons. Yes, somebody got on the boat, and you had to kill them. So it was this really harrowing chase. There's this whole 25-minute
And we didn't want to lose our chickens.
Yeah, we
got them valuable chickens.
It was a really great 30-minute sequence of just harrowing, stressful, but it was good, and that part was really fun. It's the sort of things like that made me really like the game, because the quests not that great, but just the sailing and the experience of doing stuff with your friends,
or running into other people,
and what will happen, that is really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like that. I feel like you're gonna run into more hostile than not, but I like the idea that it seems that there is a contingent out there that is just we're just chilling out, hanging out. We don't really have any reason to shoot at any other players.
Yeah, there's nothing that's prompting you to definitely be aggressive or anything like that.
Yeah, it was fun to just run into people who were just I don't know, let's hang out and play music.
And I think that group had just started, and they'd spawned on that island. The first group that we ran into that were friendly, because they were running around, clearly not sure of what to do. And then as we were leaving, we saw them run their boat immediately into the into the island. So I was I think they're new. Which is
Sounds
fine.
like a good group.
I'm happy to like not have to fight you.
What a nice group.
What a good group.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I agree with you in that I feel like I could see myself falling off this game, but I also think that it could be really awesome in like a year. I'm imagining Rare will keep updating it. Depends on how successful it is, but
this is a full retail release though. It's not mentioned as like early access, and it runs good.
No, I'm not saying it's worth $60. That's not what I said. I said I think it could be really good in a year.
Yeah. No, I'm not like disagreeing with you. I'm saying like, yeah, I understand. It's just right at the current moment. It's fun. You can get some good times out of it, but like
get Game Pass. I used to recommend everybody go download a 14-day, or not even download, sign up for the 14-day trial of Game Pass, and then play it.
And then
that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and then when it's over, you'll probably be done.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, I guess this would be a really good podcast game. I don't know why. I guess you're more down in it than I am.
I don't know. For me, a podcast game, if I'm doing a podcast game, I want to be doing something. I want to be like grinding or something. Well, like I don't want to be just chilling out and enjoying, because then I would actually, if it's a podcast game,
I don't want to be enjoying.
I don't want to be enjoying a game. I want to be working on a game.
I don't know what.
But the atmosphere of like Sea of Thieves is half the thing, and like
podcast game is a game that I chill out to and don't have to think about too much while I play.
Totally, and that's what I do with grinding games. I feel like this game, if someone shows up, I'll be like, oh shoot, I gotta stop doing what I'm doing and think about like communicating with this group. Like I feel like it's a game that's more akin to hang out with my pals and chat, which is fine.
Well, that's fun too.
Totally. I think it's good for that.
It's pirate VR chat.
There you go, pirate VR chat with less problematic things.
Yes, hopefully.
Remember, what's your takeaway on what's your thoughts?
I think it's pretty fun. I enjoy like the base of the game. Like it's fun to run around, like sail the ship and stuff. But I kind of agree it's a little shallow right now. Like I would love for them to kind of beef it up more, and so I think it'd be fun.
Beefy pirate.
To beef it up more, and then I can see myself playing it for a little while, maybe falling off, and then come back to it after like a year if they're still supporting it. And it's like, oh shoot, look at all the stuff you can do now, and like hopefully that could that'll fix some of that. But yeah,
it's just interesting that it feels like such a more of a toy box sort of experience than an actual like full on like.
It's very much a sandbox
game as opposed, and it's just funny because it's like from Rare, which is like one of the Microsoft exclusive studios, and they're actually selling an Xbox One X package with this game. So it seems like they're really trying to get behind the game, but also it's just like it feels, I don't know, odd in a way that this is the type of game that they get behind, you know. But
I don't know.
They don't have much else to get behind.
I mean, like this has got a lot of survival game aspects to it. Obviously, none of the like thirst or hunger meter or anything like that. But those games have been huge, so I can see that being a thing that Microsoft wants to get behind. Again, like it all depends on how much it's supported post-release, and that's probably determined by how successful it is.
Also, I'm just curious how this Game Pass, like what the drop-off rate will be, considering we're all like, I get the trial, and if you don't like it, like I bet a lot of people might.
Sure, I mean with the Game Pass, you do get the advantage of all the other first-party Microsoft games.
All those first-party,
which is like
Gears of War,
Halo 5. I forgot about that.
I did download ReCore because I was like, oh man, I want to play the ReCore.
They did
Rare Replay.
They did the updated version of ReCore, which is like all the stuff that it was supposed to have in the beginning, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Cameo, Elements of Power.
There you go.
Not sure all of the 360 games.
Fable 1.
There you go.
Mass Effect 1.
Oh wait.
Link's the Time Cat.
And Fusion Frenzy.
There you go.
Bill Gates' fair game.
I mean, come on.
That goes without saying.
It's a fact, man. Halo 5 Guardians.
Any other thoughts? Any other final thoughts?
Yeah, just see where it goes. See what happens.
Yeah. You'll see where it goes.
It's right now. It's a bit shallow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, What's all? We got dueling. We have dueling.
Well, technically, I played Fortnite as well. I did.
Why don't you add that? To
I played a little bit. I played a little bit with you. I forgot.
Oh, you played with someone else?
Yeah, I also played with my younger brother. Also.
Oh,
Fortnite.
Nice.
Duos. 2 people.
Fortnite.
The nation. The game that's sweeping the nation.
And the world.
The nation that's sweeping the game. The game that Drake plays, the game
so I'd been playing solo Fortnite for a little bit. It'd been a little while, but I finally jumped back on here with Ethan to play like only a couple of games, duos, see what the difference was, and man, the difference is that I'm real bad at this game now. But also, I don't know. Like, what was your experience?
I did
Ethan,
not.
You hadn't been playing.
100% hate this game when I played it again.
Like Ethan hated it the first time.
I hated it. I absolutely had pure hatred for it. But then I played it now, and it's like, oh man! Like when we first played it, it was kind of buggy. It was rough. It had long load times. Now it's like smooth as butter. It runs really good. They changed the way the guns shoot a little bit, so they're not as like floaty. They're still not like great, but they're still pretty good. They're better. It's just a quick game to get in and out of. Like it's just a lot faster paced. You have, I don't know, I killed a bunch of people, or I killed some people anyway, and that was like a surprise for me because I didn't kill anyone the first time I played it. So maybe that's why I like it better, because I did okay. But yeah, it was just I see why people like it. It's now like technically farther advanced than PUBG has. You know,
that's not hard to do.
It's not hard to do, but like it sucks because you'd expect PUBG to like it's been out for what, probably almost a year now. It feels like.
Well, technically only a couple months.
Right, technically been out, but like since early access started, like it's been that long.
Yep.
And it's like the game is still buggy and like jumps around everywhere. And I don't know, I'll jump ahead, but they released the PUBG mobile game, and I played that. And that game runs better than it does on the computer. So I don't know what's going on.
What the heck?
Also, what's weird about that game, I know I'm hijacking the Fortnite here, but PUBG Mobile. So, Ricardo, you know how Arena of Valor looks? Like the menus? It's like that. They like took that and put all the like trappings of Arena of Valor into PUBG now.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. So like
what?
So like all the microtransactions and stuff.
Like the way, I don't know. I don't.
It's like the way that you can like friend people, the way you can do the achievements, the way you earn microtransactions, like all that stuff where you get like kind of the money and you get kind of like, oh, you can attach your Facebook account to find your friends. Like it seems like they took that part and then got the idea from the actual PUBG game and then like put that over it. Yeah, it runs fine. Actually, it runs great. And it has, you can do literally everything in the game in this really bad, I don't like playing games on my phone. I just don't. It sucks, especially touch controls, aiming, stuff like that.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say like so.
You gonna try Fortnite mobile?
I think right now that's only getting dropped for like people that sign up for it. I want to say.
Fortnite.
It's not like available.
And it did not sound like something I wanted to play, so I did not sign up.
I was just curious because PUBG announced this out of like nowhere. Like I don't even think they announced it for.
Well, yeah, I mean it was very clearly it like I feel like the narrative is like very much like this in like the press and stuff too, but that PUBG is on the back foot right now.
Yeah.
That they are like the responding one. They're like for all of last year, it was like PUBG is this new thing. They're like they're breaking the new. Like I mean, they're still raking it in money wise, I'm sure, but like just in terms of like they are like
the new hot.
They are the new hot thing. They are making this new. They're like popularizing this new genre at the very least. They are like making it big. They are like setting the bar for every multiplayer game now. Everyone's going to copy them. Yeah. And it feels like Fortnite just in the space of like half the time that it took for PUBG to do this
was
has surpassed them, and not even like in so much way that like PUBG is bad. Like PUBG's not like gone or like it's still giantly huge, but that like it seems like PUBG is now no longer like the one in the forefront of this like race. They are now playing like catch up and like responding to everything that Fortnite does, like
as opposed to where it's been flipped for the last.
Yeah, it was like a couple days after the like it was like a couple days after the Fortnite announced like
their battle royale.
Yeah, they're like new stuff that like now PUBG's like, oh crap, we're gonna like I'm sure they were working on the mobile version for a while. Obviously, it doesn't just come out in one day, but it feels like not an accident that it happened like
totally
so soon after.
Yeah, it's funny they release it and it runs pretty well. Also, I played one game, got one chicken dinner, so I'm done. I don't want to play anymore.
There might be a reason why for that. Later on.
Don't go to that. Don't make me sad.
We might have an asterisk on it if you ask me.
No asterisk. No.
There might be a big old asterisk on that
win.
Yeah. So the thing about Fortnite is it's becoming the more I play it, it's becoming more and more obvious that you really need to take full advantage during engagements. Like you can still do like the thing which is the strategy I like, which is fucking hide. But during
the cowardly strategy, I like that one.
But during like actual firefights and stuff, you need to have a pretty good command on building structures because these dudes are like really good.
The good players are just like so fast. I can't even understand what they're doing.
Yeah. It's tough. Like I'm trying to get the hang of just doing basic stuff. Like, if I'm in the open, and like somebody starts shooting me, like build a wall, build a staircase, so like I have a little platform to like look up over while staying in cover. Yeah. And just like other stuff like building up like to different vantage points and always trying to stay on top of the map and stuff like that. But duos is fun just because it adds a new element both for fighting other players and also like yourself, mainly that you essentially have to confirm kills now because you only go into a down state if you get knocked down, and then your friend can come pick you up. It takes 10 seconds for that to happen.
Yeah, it seems even longer in PUBG, I think.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is an eternity.
It's a lot in a video game.
When specifically now you've made a bunch of noise fighting this other squad and they're dead, but you've made a bunch of noise, and so now you are everyone is well aware like of your location, and if they want to, they can come like see what's going on, and more than likely they will be better equipped than you and will kill you. So
have
like
you played go ahead.
Yeah, what's up? No. To go on.
Have you played any of like the big team games? The one they had like a 50-50 game, they had like a 20-20-20-20
No, I've
game.
only played I haven't even played the squads mode, which I believe is 4 players. I've only played now.
They had some like special events that were like for like big, like they had like a 50-50 team and they had like 5 20-people teams.
Yeah, I think I remember. I think I read about that. Yeah, it's I really like it. I'm starting to like get like a lot more accustomed to the map and finding like places that I like and kind of having a weird affection and affinity for the map and the world that it takes place in. So it's I really like it. I'm gonna keep playing more of it. Again, it's free, so but
there you go.
It's whatever, man. Whatever.
All right. Well, since Ethan already mentioned PUBG Mobile, we'll move straight on to the news.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm totally listening to this story.
All right, great.
Ricardo's
gonna hear the asterisk on Ethan's recent win in PUBG Mobile. People are theorizing, and it seems to be confirmed not by Bluehole, I guess, but by just people playing that like. Surprising number of people who play their first PUBG match win their first PUBG match, and also all the enemies they fight in that PUBG match
I'm not special.
Have red shirts and also are really, 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 really bad at the game, which leads people to thinking that like actually the early games of that game are filled with very, very bad AI bots instead of actual human beings.
Sorry,
I felt so good.
The idea seems to be that you will
love it so much you'll play it again.
That's honestly probably it.
Oh.
But the idea seems to be that the more you play, the more you'll get placed into real, like the ratio of real players will go up. So the article here talks about how if you play your first game, it'll be mostly bots, and you'll probably win. And then if you play another game after you've won, you'll probably be placed in a game that has way more actual real players and some bots. And eventually you'll kind of graduate up as you do better and better into, actual, into actual full games.
So is it the fact that PUBG itself is bots, or is it just like weird people trying to farm stuff?
No, this is like the game has bots. It's like AI is populating the rest of the 99 players.
It's not like the aim bots in the
No, yeah, not like cheaters, PC. But like
I wonder if I could see how many people I wish there was a way to see.
Well, that's the thing, is that Bluehole hasn't confirmed this is true or not. So like I think that's the part that makes it weird to me. Is like if it was like, hey, for your first couple of games, we're gonna put you in with bots until you get good, and then
at least a few bots, yeah.
But then it's like, no, man, you're just amazing. Wow, you just did so good. You should keep playing. You should play again, man.
Yeah, I actually was gonna say, like, I kind of like the idea of put in with bots at the beginning, just to kind of get your feet wet and being like, okay, I understand how these controls work. Exactly. I understand like what because it's a kind of complicated game. Right. And you could do decent at it. You won't get murdered right away.
Not right away.
Not right away, and then it starts getting harder and harder as you play a couple more, which I think that's fine. I just the lack of transparency, like Matt said, is
I was gonna say, and that's always the thing that's kind of bothered me with a lot of mobile games, is even like Arena of Valor, which I feel like I ended up playing enough of to confirm that like, no, actually I'm decent at this game, and it's not just like
I definitely know there's real people in Arena of Valor.
Yeah, and like, well, and it's the thing too, is it's like Clash Royale, where it does definitely feel like, and I feel like this has also been confirmed, it's like if you are buying like the level up packs and you are buying stuff like the chests and stuff when they're available and whatnot, it feels like the game tosses you opponents that are not necessarily of your skill level, whereas opposed to when you have not been buying stuff regularly or whatever, it will just like in a certain way discourage you by feeding you tougher opponents to the point where it's like, hey,
mobile games suck.
You know what you should do?
Dude, you should buy some stuff.
Yeah, that's really scummy.
Because like, it's obvious you're just a little behind, man. You need
this is not nearly as scummy, but it's still
just the lack of transparency.
Yeah, it's still just like a little bit of like, hey, we'll get people to really like the game first.
Yeah, I mean,
and then we'll give them the upsell.
See, what's funny is I played it the once and got the chicken dinner. I was like, okay, cool, I'm done. I don't need to play again because I'm the best at this game. And then now I realize that it's a bot thing, and now I don't even want to play it even more. So it's not bad though. Like considering the fact of it's rough around the edges, or just the fact that it's like a touch game that's like an FPS game, it works pretty well. Like I was able to aim and get a hang of it. It's not as streamlined as like Arena of Valor is, but it's fine considering how complicated that game is. It's just a lot of buttons to press,
There's just too many buttons.
Too many buttons.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's an interesting insight as to why so many people are getting their first win on the first time they play PUBG Mobile.
Sorry.
The next story is about at GDC. There is a group trying to get game devs to unionize.
That's not a terrible idea.
Because it is a industry with historic, how can I put this diplomatically, lack of regard for its workforce.
Overworked.
What are you talking about? Crunch doesn't exist, dude.
I love the crunch.
Everyone thinks crunch is great. Everybody loves crunch, and it's nobody is upset with it.
It's because of the passion these guys have for what they do.
Willing to stay.
And that if they don't, we'll fire them.
No,
and then
I don't say that part out loud.
And also, we'll probably fire them anyway after the game comes out, no matter what happens. So this article that I've quoted Polygon is a little bit more of a feature piece than it is about a specific like a news event because nothing's actually happened yet. But it's just about this movement that is trying to get people to it's not even specifically about like here join this union right now. It's just kind of like a general like it is the startings of a movement, not necessarily an actual movement yet. And I kind of want to just talk about it because it's just kind of interesting to me, and also the idea of like, will that ever happen in the games industry? Will
unionize?
Yeah, will that ever union? Like they talk about a lot of the problems of unionization in the thing, and not that like, oh, it's bad for business kind of stuff, but more like, well, unlike Hollywood, where you have like the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild of America and things like that, there isn't really things like that in games. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you work for, you know, let's just say EA, you're not like all doing the same thing. Like there are designers and writers and programmers and like web, quality assurance and like, you know, web tools and dev tools and all that kind of stuff that needs to be. So like, do all of them get lumped into one union? Do we need to make a separate union for all the different categories? But then what about people who are on a contract? Like, you know, all of the kind of stuff like that. It's like,
it's a little messy.
It gets a little messy. So like, what do you do? And like, so it's like I said, the article doesn't necessarily have all the solutions to that, or say that the group that's doing this has all the solutions to that, but it's definitely a kind of starting to an idea of like unionizing to kind of protect the employees. And be interesting to see if it ever takes hold, because like the high burnout rate has not been a problem for the industry so far. They've just like burned people out and then been like, fine, we'll hire some more college kids who really want to make video games.
Yeah.
Like, so there hasn't been much of a problem there. What do you guys think?
How do I put this as, whatever, fuck it. As I continue to grow old, and as I continue to be in a capitalist country in which the majority of jobs are directly under some form of monolithic kind of corporation,
what are you talking about?
It becomes more and more apparent that I think all employees should have some kind of be able to kind of have some kind of accountability for themselves and for one another as well. And so I'm very much for the act of unionizing and the act of protecting people's not only just their jobs but their rights.
Their rights as a worker, yeah.
I was gonna say their rights as a worker, and to have a job where it's like I'm going to make a reasonable, and probably that's even arguable, wage for a reasonable amount of work. You know.
Okay, this I might have a dumb question, but as far as ideal unions, would this be on like certain sizes of teams? Because I can't imagine like an indie studio that has like 5 people having to pay like union dues and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that's listed as one of the like
okay.
Along with the idea of that, like, hey, not everyone does the same thing in game development.
Totally, yeah.
The other problem is like, what about indie? You know,
but I mean, we all know this. It definitely happens in big games. Like this happens in like Naughty Dogs and places like that. You know, big game studios. The crunch is real, and that happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I was just wondering, like.
And crunch is super interesting because like that doesn't really happen to the same effect in other areas of like software development. As someone who, you know, works for a software company, it's really interesting seeing that like 100% there are people that like stay overtime, and like some emergency comes up of like some giant bug or problem. It's like, oh crap, we gotta like get this fixed today. Everyone's staying until this is fixed. 100% stuff like that happens. Right. It's not at all like a perfect situation, but it's interesting that there's like a built-in period of like, yeah, these 3 weeks you're gonna be living in the office, like just like that's the plan. It's like what, like that seems like bad business practice.
Yeah. Sometimes
you know what I mean? Like you're paying overtime for anybody who's hourly, and then you're like, why would you? And then like, you know, you're like, it just seems like why would you want to do that? Like
it's
ever?
Like if it's clear that is what needs to be done to get the the thing done in this development cycle. Maybe the problem is the length of the development cycle as a whole.
Totally.
You know? But again, games
and
have to come out within what the company deems the shareholders need the game to come out at what quarter or whatever.
I think a lot of people balk at it and go like, well, that'll make games cost more money. And it's like, well, maybe games should cost more money then. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, like $60 is a lot, and I don't like paying $60 for a video game very often. I usually get games on sale or, you know, find deals or whatever. Like, I try not to pay $60 for a full game that often. But if it means like the people making them actually have like a livable wage and a livable working life, then maybe that needs to happen. I mean, like, games haven't gone up in price for a while now. Like,
they actually have gone down, like, overall.
And they cost a lot more to make than they used to because of how big they have to be and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm not saying I would be yay, I would love it, but like, I would rather have that than like the kind of crappy working conditions that the game industry has been, you know, known for a long time.
Yeah.
And there are ways around even, you know, that as well, but, you know, yeah, an interesting thought. All right, let's pause for a second because I got a dog that's whining.
Aw, poor doggy.
1:02:10. I'm gonna mark that as a time to cut out. I think she needs to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I think so.
I can take her out.
Okay.
Keep recording, guys. Don't. I'm just gonna write down the time.
Puppy.
Puppy gotta go bathroom.
Yeah, she's very much like, no, you guys can't keep me in here. I demand representation, dang it.
The puppies should unionize.
Puppies should unionize. Unionizing puppies, that'd be so cute.
That would be pretty cute, honestly.
It'd be the cutest union ever, think about it.
Yeah.
It'd be the most effective union. We wouldn't be able to say no.
You didn't just drop it. You just like threw it on the ground. You guys couldn't quite see it. Here's me holding the phone. Here's me as Amber. Just like threw it.
Matt likes to make fun of me in front of it.
The weight of it.
Out of love.
All right, let's watch this dog live on Twitch.
What are you watching?
How many are you?
Still streaming.
Everybody who's watching this on the stream gets to see a puppy.
That's puppy.
Look at the puppy.
Puppy okay.
Puppy all right.
Puppy will live.
Ooh.
Oh shoot, I think it might be raining outside too. Oh no.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no. Jorge was texting me while I was while we're recording, and apparently he says Devil Joe's out right now.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I just opened up a thing.
Who is Devil Joe?
Devil Joe.
He's the pickle man. He's the pickle monster.
He's the pickle man from Monster Hunter. He's
God,
big,
of course.
like you see, if it happened if there was a T-Rex.
Okay.
And then there was a pickle.
Alright.
And then they fucked.
Finally.
And then they had a baby. That would be Devil Joe.
Okay, so my fan fiction's coming true is what you're saying.
Indeed.
Okay,
My Rick and Morty fan fiction.
Yep.
Yes.
The part where
It
Rick
stops.
flipped a T-Rex.
When he got swifty with the T-Rex.
Never.
Wubba lubba dub dub. And all the other fucking annoying shit from that show.
Oh, so you're a big Rick and Morty fan, I see.
That they say like once, and then the entire fandom's like, "That is what we will put on all the shirts."
This will be our battle cry.
Yes, indeed.
We sure love a Rick and Morty. I want the Szechuan sauce. I
I
can't
had
tell.
the Szechuan sauce.
Oh yeah, you did.
How is it?
It's all right. It's fine.
It's whatever.
It's funny because after I seen the Szechuan sauce like fiasco, I keep seeing like Szechuan sauce in real places, like Chinese places. What do you know?
Weird.
And I don't know if maybe it's just I've been noticing it now because of that incident, or they actually are like capitalizing it and it's just appearing more because they're like.
Could be a little column A, a little column B.
Could be.
Yeah. Fucking I will always love you.
Thanks.
That was to you, Ethan.
Oh,
yeah,
like
well, because the thing is when the whole thing with the Szechuan sauce was going on or whatever, Ray's a big Rick and Morty guy.
Mm.
Surprise. But he made like Szechuan sauce like himself.
Yeah.
And it was really good. So then when like I finally got the McDonald's one and I tried it, I was like, this is fine. Like
I sure it's probably not as good because it's not maybe like fresh ingredients and stuff. So
yeah, exactly.
I just want to make Szechuan sauce from scratch.
I don't know. Ray did it, not Ricardo. He just ate it.
Yeah, I don't know.
You put some Szechuans on it.
There was brown sugar involved.
Okay.
There was some kind of like soy sauce and something else.
All right.
Some sort of chili paste, I think, in there as well.
Oh, this is truly revolutionary.
I don't remember. Man, I don't know. I just ate it.
I just eat the stuff.
I just ate it.
Pretty good though. Homemade Szechuan sauce.
Yeah.
Just gonna do that for
What's
now.
next on the news? What are we like? I want to be informed. So
3 companies, including Riot, Blizzard, and Twitch, team up to fight toxicity and fight.
Toxicity. Toxicity
of our video games.
Toxic.
Hello, the Legends, League of Legends.
First, they're taking away our sexist redheads in Pirates of the Caribbean, and now this. What next?
The redhead's still in there. She's just doing stuff now. She's just.
Oh, yes, true.
Now she's gonna have like a rifle.
But I want her to be a slave, to be auctioned off the way God intended.
Yeah.
And I want the fat one to be like shamed.
Yes.
in the
and I want them to scream,
and unlovable.
"We want the redhead."
Yes, I want one of the pirates to be like, "Are you selling her for the pound?"
I don't remember that line. That's
yeah, one of the pirates straight.
I mean, I believe you. I just don't remember hearing it.
You auction her for the pound?
That could be.
And then it's like, no, shift your cargo, dearie. No need to expose your
superstructure. Show me your larboard side.
Show her your larboard side.
Man, that's what I'm saying. Taking away all the good stuff.
Hey, as long as they have Carlos, don't be cheeky. I'm okay with that.
Cheeky.
That's my favorite.
Carlos. No.
And the laughing pirate. I forget how he goes.
I don't. Hey there, be a nice little pussycat. Have some old time run with old Ben. Yeah.
I feel like I'm in Disneyland right now.
That guy totally slept with that cat.
And then, well, there's that guy sleeping with like 3 or 4 pigs.
That's what I'm saying. The guy's into bestiality, my dude.
What about the fucking same 3 lines of fucking Davy Jones that you hear over and over again?
Herbie Treasure and shit over here.
That's not what he says.
That's only what he says.
I did, yeah, just there.
He says, "Aye, but they do tell tales." So
Says
I, Davy Jones.
Is that the mist one?
Yeah, the vape.
Yeah, that one's
The
really
vape.
Cloud.
That's the sick vape cloud.
The vape cloud.
Do they still have Blackbeard, or is it just Davy Jones though?
Blackbeard you can hear like at the end of the ride.
Really?
Say some shit, yeah.
Mm.
And then also Davy Jones.
They like David Jones. They like their Johnny Depps.
Yeah, they really do.
Despite no one else liking Johnny Depps, but that's okay.
Johnny Depp, where is all the rum?
I got real bummed finding out that this is only in Disneyland Paris, but they're renaming the Blue Lagoon to Captain Jack's. I'm like, that sucks.
Oh, that does suck.
So at first I thought it was OG Disneyland. I almost flipped my shit, and then I was like, oh no, just kidding, it's Paris, who cares?
Oh, that's fine. Who cares about that then?
Yeah, but still a bummer.
Alright, you guys ready to start?
Nah.
Yes.
We're talking about this.
Oh, we've been running the whole time.
No, I mean, they restarted the podcast.
Oh, we were running the whole time. We are already down on the trailer trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already picked our winner. You missed it.
Yeah, we're done.
It was Burnout Paradise.
Sea of Thieves.
And so, 30 companies, including Riot, Blizzard, and Twitch, teaming up to fight the bullies.
The triple threat.
The bullies.
They're trying to fight the toxic gamers.
Not Valve, though. Valve doesn't give a fuck.
They're like, whatever.
Valve never cares.
Epic is in this group as well.
Fucking Gabe is too. Gabe, if you've seen it, if you heard about his knife collection, he is one of the bullies.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He just starts.
He's on Dota 2 every day, like yelling at people for not playing their character right.
Play your class.
Learn every character before you play this game.
Go back to training.
This article has a lot of stuff about how like Riot did a bad job of this. It's really funny. It just talks about like it's from like one of the Riot the Riot person in charge of like community behavior or something like that. I can't remember the let's see, senior technical designer Kimberly Vole is to create a consistent. She's create a consistent set of behavior standards between companies. So it's the Fair Play Alliance is the coalition of 30 different companies.
The alliance.
And they are trying to, using like both play incentives and psychological studies and things like that, trying to figure out the best way to, best way to make it so that people don't be dicks online.
Okay, here's the funniest part is that CCP is involved in this coalition, and that is EVE Online, and EVE Online is just full of dicks. Like, to the point where the gaming...
just like Mickey's fuck wheel.
Pretty much, yeah. There's so many dicks. Like, that's the point of the game, though. Like, the game is meant to, like, grief people.
Yeah, it's the point of the game.
The point of the game is pretty much to grief people. Like,
it's the head of the game.
It's the thrust of the game.
It's
the EA Sports.
It's the scrotum of the game.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
pretty
say
sure.
something else,
Yeah, I'm
but
pretty
I
sure.
was like, man, I feel like at this point it's already too far. Yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like Riot's been like. I feel like this is going on like the 5th year of them being like, we're trying to clean up the toxic player base. Like, we're trying to make it less toxic.
Like, again, MOBAs are just like breeding grounds for toxicity just because of the state of the game. Because you see
it's like
everyone
45 minutes to an hour and a half of your time.
It's high commitment. It's 100% based on your team as well. Like, you could do really well and your team could fail.
And you can get behind very quickly.
Yeah, and it's hard to catch up.
And
you can also, not only that, you can also see everything that's happening. Like in Overwatch, you can't always see what's happening, but like in this, it's like, oh, here's a replay, here's a breakdown.
Why did we lose that team fight? I don't know.
That's it.
And no one knows. And no one knows that Mercy was just not healing anybody that entire time.
Yeah,
you couldn't see it.
Yeah, or that the Reinhardt charged at the wrong time when he should have kept the shield up or whatever.
He fell off the cliff.
Yeah, I fell off the cliff.
Usually you can see that. The Reinhardt, the shield not being usually is very visible.
No.
But like, yeah, like I think that like it's this Riot employee is very candid. This is full knowledge that Riot had a long and storied history of mistakes in this arena. But that's kind of the point. Games like League of Legends exemplify how difficult it is to bring communities back from the brink. And she says, "There's a lot to share, and we've done a lot of dumb things. We've learned a lot."
Well, hey, that's.
I mean,
you know what? Said, Riot's player behavior team, once among the more prominent voices in this discussion, stepped back from the public eye a couple of years ago because they realized that their own efforts weren't quite hitting the mark. So they're like, while they're part of this initiative, they are not like leading the way anymore.
Gotcha.
Again, I just feel like they're just stacked against it. That it's just like, it's just that game is just made for toxicity. Even Even like
I think the article goes into that, how like competitive games kind of like encourage you to be a dick no matter what the competitive game is.
Yeah, it really just teamwork's involved.
Yeah, if it's a game where it pits people against each other, they will find ways.
Heroes of the Storm has a lot of that too. It's not as bad because the stakes are a lot lower. I think it's the fact that stakes. I mean,
Overwatch has that, and again, the stakes are even lower there because you're not even.
People just like to be dicks.
People just want to be dicks.
When you're losing a thing and you're on a team-based thing, it's just it's
easy just to blame.
Easy to blame other people. Like it's just the way it goes.
I just think it's funny.
I'm not even denying that I've done it because I've definitely gone, oh, my team sucks right now or something like that. Like it's
totally.
It's also funny how
the people themselves, but like
again, another thing on EVE Online is like that's a game where someone infiltrates a corporation, steals all the money, and then leaves, and that's totally something you're supposed to do.
Like EVE Online is like, what if capitalism had no rules?
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically what it like.
And that's what makes it super interesting and entertaining to watch. And it's like, but all that stuff, like people get like really mad and hurt and all that stuff. But it's like that's part of the game. Like it's like what is?
But like there's like physical. There's physical investment in
yeah, and also people like have like I know obviously I think they don't condone this, but like some people have actually went and like cut power from like rival corporations.
Yes.
Like
no, I've heard of that. The stories of that of they like troll people's real life like houses or internet access.
And obviously that's against the rules, but it's just like that's
listen, that's a bridge too far.
That's a bridge too far.
We have to put a stop to this somewhere.
But yeah, it's interesting. Hopefully it works, but I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm jaded and just like, people are always gonna be dicks on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways to encourage that good behavior, but I think that's the thing is it's more than just discouraging bad behavior. It's like encouraging good behavior.
Yeah,
and it's not, and that's not like the solution's easy. Boom, there's your answer. It's like it's just like it's almost like you have to start off with that in mind. Otherwise, if you don't, it's too late. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
Once your player base is garbage, it's like too late.
To
make it not garbage.
You know who's also on this? Supercell. That Clash Royale boys.
Oh yeah, they're the best at this.
Yep.
They're not the ones going like, hey, you just lost. Do you want to buy a thing to make yourself?
Hey, when you're winning, don't do the laugh emote like a million times. Don't do the thumbs up.
Do the thumbs up. Do the thumbs up. Do the thumbs up.
And then it's like, weren't those the guys on record of saying like, we love it when people get mad at our game. Then they buy more stuff when they do that. Like, it's like.
Look, they've amended all their ways, repented, they've seen the light, and made a switch.
Made a switch?
Yes.
I don't have a
switch
that.
News.
Later on, there's a lot of Switch stuff, but not right now. Guys, last week we kind of briefly touched on the whole video games, guns thing. I just wanted to point out, this is not like a specific, there's a new development in that regard. It's just more so that, Waypoint is doing a really great series right now about video games and guns and the different ways. That's it. It's a very broad topic, but there's a lot of things to cover in that topic, and so there's a lot of things that are in it. It's very interesting. And it kind of points a little bit to what I was talking about last week of, the nice thing is, with the writers on Waypoint and the freelancers that they use, it is way more than just are video games and guns bad or are they good? It's way, there's a lot of insight there.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of interesting because it's there are plenty of things that prove that violence or video game violence does not generate any sort of real violence.
Totally.
And it's cool to see the other areas of sport of still it's weird how much we fetishize guns and man, the reload was really cool, the guns feel good in this game, that kind of stuff in so many things. So
guns are like dicks and people love dicks.
I love dicks.
This
Absolutely.
one
we've been talking a lot about dicks this podcast.
Very dicks. Don't know why.
I'm on the podcast. You get a lot of dicks out of me.
It's true. Wait, what? Anyway, I actually one thing about fetishizing guns is I remember people a lot of my friends playing Counter-Strike and being like, "Oh man, this is the gun based off this real gun," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. This is a Deagle. That's a Desert Eagle." And I was like, "Oh, cool.
A Deagle.
Cool.
Deagle.
Yeah.
My favorite Deagle is Snoopy.
My favorite story, I will say, my favorite story in their series so far is the one about I actually read this today. before you mentioned this, but the story about the company that specializes in making gun models. And it's not just like realistic gun models. It's like, oh, we have the sci-fi gun for Star Citizen. Like they make all these different types of guns.
Yeah,
and they're just like experts at making it feel weighty and making it feel like good, and you know.
Like the experts at guns.
The expert at guns, like some German military guy, ex-military man.
There's an interesting story today about a developer who like plays every single game without ever shooting a gun.
Nice.
I don't know how that works, but that's what they apparently do. I haven't read that story yet, but
I was gonna say, do they kill people like still? Because I feel like you have to kill
I don't know. I don't know what they do. I have to read the story. I should read it. But there's a bunch of good stories on this in this series that people should check out. So I think that's why I'm pointing. That's why I wrote it in here.
It's interesting because I've thought about it a couple times, about the fact that there's such a high percentage of video games as a whole. The sole way you interact with the game, with the world and interact with the game itself, is by shooting stuff.
Yeah,
like absolutely. That is most of what video games are.
You can even extrapolate it farther and say like just violence in general.
Yeah, exactly. And if you even say then that's like probably not a good 99% of games is like you interact with the world via violence, and it is kind of like a weird thing of,
or as like violence being a prime, like one of the primary, where it's like even in a game like a big game like The Witcher, where it's like, no, you do a lot of other stuff in The Witcher where you talk to people and things like that. But usually the talking, usually the talking to people leads to like, well, there's bad guys over there that I need to go kill.
Now I get this combat scenario in front of me.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to think of how popular in the current meta like a game would be. Like a big budget game in which it's like it does not involve kind of violence of any kind, really.
A AAA game.
No Man's Sky.
Get indie games like a Rocket League or something. But that isn't like violence.
Even then, you blow up the cars.
Well, yeah, and even like in stuff like the Marvel films from Disney now, it's like a lot. There's like heroes doing a lot of heroic stuff in them, but there's also an exorbitant amount of violence.
I got punched a man a lot to make him stop doing the bad.
In fact, the Spider-Man: Homecoming is probably one of the less violent ones, honestly.
It's true, yeah.
It's interesting. that just reminds me of a dumb thing when we watched Civil War, and they're like, you could tell the writers like, we need a place where they can like do a bunch of stuff but not kill any civilians. Like, this airport got evacuated. We're all gonna meet at this airport. Like, that's just been evacuated just now. It just got evacuated. We're gonna take
that's like every video game. That's like, oh, the Division. Let's get one out.
Like, no one's out. All of Gotham City got evacuated.
I was gonna say that was even more egregious than Batman v Superman, where it's like, oh, it looks like they managed to get everyone out of this corner of Gotham. And it's like, okay, dude, you just saying that because everybody complained that Superman killed like
1 billion
200,000 people in the fucking last movie.
Which, I mean, he did. He
totally did. And then they tried to make that a plot point and be like, oh, isn't Batman justified and not an asshole? Well, we're getting into fucking discussion about that.
Just can't get away from Disney.
Hey, Civil War is not a bad movie.
Hey, all right. You know what movie I don't mind violence in? It's SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom.
That's not a movie.
It's a video game. I meant to say video game.
Whatever.
That game, you blow up robots.
Robots are people.
Are any of these good?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom is a great game.
I was gonna say, is that like when I saw you had this story and I actually thought, and I was like, I don't think any of those Nickelodeon games were good.
I don't think they were either.
But
I remember Talk of the Power of Juju being good.
I remember renting that and liking it, but then I don't remember. I don't remember anything else. Talk and the Power of Juju.
Yeah, that game's okay.
What about the Rugrats in Paris N64 game? You can play mini golf in that. That's all I remember. So you can play mini golf.
I've kind of been like, I think there was like a Rocket Power game that maybe was okay because it was like a Tony Hawk clone. But
My Life as a Teenage Robot, man. I'm getting just flashbacks from looking at this list of show of like
Danny Phantom.
Yeah, Danny Phantom. I remember that.
Gotta catch them all because
he's Danny
this
Phantom.
is the next level of like, hey man, remember not the '90s? Let's just make the games from the '90s now. We already brought all the.
SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Good game.
Okay.
Good game. It's a good game.
All right. We'll see if they ever come back.
They did speedrun this last HGDQ.
Clearly, that means it's a good game.
It was an awesome game, done quick. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. The first word is awesome.
Awesome.
I don't know about that.
Awesome.
I don't know if I agree with that, Matt.
But I don't know. They haven't actually named what games are going to be coming out, so who knows if. Yeah, Talk of the Power of Juju is an interesting one because that one started as a video game and then became a TV show from that.
I didn't know it became a TV show. I just remember
it was. Yeah, it did not last very long as a TV show. I don't think, but they were trying to like launch a new property and they like decided to make a game of it first. It was very interesting.
That's weird.
Like I said, I rented that and it wasn't like the worst. It was very much an early 2000s platformer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some interesting things there. THQ Nordic is clearly like, well, we bought the THQ thing, so let's put out everything that we now own. Let's just make
the black hole of video games, just sucking everything up.
Yeah, they're definitely like whatever we can put out, whatever we're legally allowed to publish as THQ now, we should definitely do that. And that's all I have to say on that.
That's all I got to say about that.
It's trailer trash time, guys.
Trailer trash!
Dang, I'm an Avenger. Get it out.
How many civilians have you killed today?
27. Get it out.
Great. We got quite a few trailers today. But first, for the non-Nintendo ones, Way Out. It's coming out this week. It's coming out on Friday.
So
yeah,
soon.
that was a shock. I thought this was still a ways away.
But we've been hearing about it for a while now, so I was excited to see that it's almost out because I've been looking forward to this game quite a bit.
Yeah, I do want to try
Brothers. I thought Brothers was a good game.
I thought Brothers was fine. I liked it.
I like Brothers. It's a good game.
I played 5 minutes and it was a-okay.
But this
game looks cool. It looks like Brothers on the next level of.
It's Brothers, but the next
level. It looks a lot more, and I mean, I know this might sound silly, but not necessarily actiony, but like far-fetched, like in terms of like.
It definitely looks like
in terms of like they're like parachuting out.
Yeah.
I assumed like they would escape from the prison. That'd be a large chunk of the game, and then there would be
that's like early. I don't know.
Yeah,
all of the stuff they've shown seem to be.
But like I'm seeing them like on a motorcycle with like fully automatic assault rifles.
Yeah, the new thing they showed in this trailer was like
a lot of
parachuting out of a plane, and then like with a backpack falling off one of the guys, and then they got to jump out and catch him. Like,
listen, when you escape from prison, you gotta do some pretty ridiculous stuff.
And it still looks cool, but I definitely was hoping it would again like stray maybe a little bit more closer to like the object of this game is like
a little more understated, like not as bombastic.
You're escaping from prison and then you're going on the lam and stuff. And you know what's not probably great for when you escaped out of prison is shooting up a lot of guys. But it looks really fun.
Maybe that's not during the prison escape. Maybe that's like way later in the game.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm looking forward to it. Like the big obvious like hook that they've advertised a ton of at this point is that like it's a co-op no matter what. You cannot play it not co-op. It has to be co-op. It is always split screen no matter if you're playing it online or in the same room.
Nice.
And it just seems like really creative and inventive in that regard. Like, and I'm just kind of interested to play. Like Amber and I are probably gonna play it together, but like I'd be very interested to play it with a stranger. Like I you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like because you have to agree on things. This is what I remember from the last E3, where it was like anytime there's a decision that has to be made, you both have to agree. You can't like vote or override or anything like that. It is like you have to both pick the same thing, and if you don't, you have to talk up. You have to just sit there on that screen until you like figure it out. So I don't know. I feel like it'd be a really cool experiment to play with a complete rando.
Is there any sort of voice chat or anything you can do?
I don't know. I mean, they might have said that before, but if they have, I have not.
That would be interesting. I know, obviously, there's ways, specifically if you're playing with someone you know around that, by like going into a party and like chatting, just whatever. Yeah. But that would be interesting if it was like not like there was no actual voice chat like built into the game for if you were just matchmaking with somebody.
And I kind of assumed you weren't, but now that I'm thinking about it,
I think there will be, just because this is meant to be like a couch type co-op game, so I imagine you probably need to communicate with each other a lot.
Especially if you get to that point where like you disagree on a course of action, and if you don't have any way of like talking to that other person, that's like, well,
it's just the first one that relents.
Yeah, we're never just sitting on the screen until it goes through. But yeah, this game looks cool, and I see what you're saying, Ricardo, for sure. I kind of like always thought this game seemed more like crazy because it was like about a prison break. I just kind of figured it would go places from there, but
sure. Yeah. Like it look. Don't get me wrong. It still looks really cool. It looks like the voice acting performances in it seem like they're gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that again, it'll be an experience you play with one other person probably the whole way through.
Yeah, theoretically. I wonder how long it is too, because it's like if you are playing with a rando online, could you conceivably beat the game in the sitting with that person, or would you have to like quit and then like you play again and you like join with some other different person? That'd be kind of a bummer almost.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Are there like?
Well, here's an interesting thing: is it says I think there is a note that's buy a copy, your friends join free. So that's interesting.
Oh,
that's cool.
So one person can buy it, and then you can just have someone pop in and play it. That's
really
what it says on the trailer.
So it's like Mario Kart
DS
style.
All those good DS games.
Download
play. Burette.
Etc.
The next thing we watched was After Party.
Woo, After Party.
Let's all go to the after party.
Anybody else?
This looks like a pretty rad game.
Yeah, I mean, this looks the art style looked
it's Oxenfree.
Is 100% Oxenfree, but with a much cooler environmental, like, because the gameplay, the gameplay takes place in hell, which is like the game reveals to you.
It seems so cool though.
But so which means that like other than like unlike before, which is like, well, we're on an island that has to be like somewhat realistic. Because in the real human world, it's just like, well, whatever, we can go draw whatever we want. It's just like, so even though it's using the same like engine, it looks like it looks way cooler already, and they have a way more moving characters and people in the shots at the same time. So
it's like the same style, but it has more of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it seems to revolve around 2 characters rather than like 6.
Yeah.
So it seems to like
Milo
much more personalization.
And Lola.
Exactly.
Yes. I think you're right.
Much more personalization between those 2 characters.
And the tunes in this trailer were
good tunes.
Was pretty dope.
Good tunes. Yeah. I'm liking it. I mean, it looks very similar, kind of adventure game. Yeah, your characters talk to each other. They exchange witty banter. You pick your dialogue options.
Yeah, I liked Oxenfree enough, but I felt like it could have done more, or been more interesting, done more things. So I like the actual like dialogue options a lot. So it's great to see that come to a different game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Oxenfree was good, but didn't fully hit what it was aiming for the whole time. But yeah, I think this is looking like a good follow up to that. So, Ni no Kuni 2.
Ni no Kuni.
Listen.
Yes.
Fantasy mice. Can you trust them?
No, shoot him with a gun.
No, shoot him with your gag. You.
I was totally like, oh man, this game looks cool. Whatever, it's gonna be another one of those Ni no Kuni games. It's gonna have great art style. And then I saw that like some dude from like the modern age comes and like appears. And is like he smokes like one of the dudes with a gun. And I'm like,
it's like less modern age and more like early 1900s like age. That's literally
the 1900s with that gun like that. That's totally a modern gun.
Well, that gun is modern, but his clothing is not modern.
Yeah.
He's one of those Victorian guys, that always wears like a waistcoat and a pocket watch.
Yeah,
our puppy is rebelling against.
It's attacking.
Our puppy is literally barking.
There's a ghost on the shelf.
No, there's a Totoro. There's a Totoro on the shelf.
Oh no!
There's a cat mouse on the shelf, and she is mad about that.
Ni no Kuni, very Ghibli inspired. At least the first one.
The first one actually was art.
Yeah,
like cutscenes that were animated by Ghibli.
That is not that's no longer the case in this.
That is not the case in this one, but it still has a similar. It has the same art style and the 3D graphics. It looks really good. I was one of those people that was like, I really wanted to play the first one, and I heard there was like a ton of grinding.
Yeah.
And that kind of turned me off.
JRPG, man.
Yeah, I just heard it was a JRPG, and I'm like, I could only handle one of those in my life.
Well, whatever. Yeah, Ethan, you're racist. We know this about you when it comes to video games.
What? Wait, what?
He hates anime, hates JRPGs. We already know.
I love lots of anime-esque video games. Bayonetta? Devil May Cry?
You only like Bayonetta because
you like the new Devil May Cry that's like.
I've never played the old ones.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not an anime. That's a Canadian developer, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was Japanese. It was Team Ninja. I like lots of Japanese games, man. How dare you say that? How dare you say that? I just don't like JRPGs that much.
Listen, Ethan, get it straight. Live your life like a Kamehameha.
Give your all. Don't ever give up.
Yes. Hey.
Hey, I don't like your girlfriend.
Hey. I think you need a new one.
Burnout Paradise is out now.
You're gonna need a new head when it gets snatched up off your shoulders in Head Snatchers. A fun, zany multiplayer game for you and all your friends.
Yeah.
All my friends.
What the object is you knock off your friends' heads, and then you score it in a corresponding goal, and then that's how you win.
Yeah, depending on what the game is, you might bowl the head, you might dunk the head, you might kick the head.
Yeah.
You gotta date the head, you gotta be the head.
Yeah. You gotta sniff the head.
You gotta lick the head. Back to Mickey's fuck.
Bold. You gotta be bold and brash. And this game belongs in the trash.
First you draw this head, and then you diverse some of the more detailed parts, and then the circle.
This game looked fine. This game looked fun.
Yeah, it looked fun.
It looked like a good one of those co-op or couch multiplayer games. That looks cool, but it doesn't look too different and amazing. I don't know.
You know what else looked fine? Sean Astin looked fine.
Yeah,
trailer.
Looks great.
Is Sea of Thieves.
Never say die.
Yeah, there was definitely they definitely like hired him
because it's like, hey,
Goonies reference, right? Like
because he has asthma and stuff. Get it? He's Mikey from the Goonies, but we can't say that. We can't say that.
Say that, but
you know that.
You know he is. Yeah, this is a trailer where like Sean Astin acts a little bit and then walks around the museum.
Yeah,
I mean he's not like chewing the scenery or anything.
No, he's not.
He's just
he's like a steak away from chewing the scenery. I'll say that.
There's the one scene where it was only the one part where he's like, "What's up, Kraken?" or whatever. That was the one where he's like, yeah, he's like, he just sounded like Ricardo at that point. That's just how Ricardo sounds when he's good.
Yeah,
it's part Kraken.
Yeah.
It's trailer.
Yeah, but they didn't show any of the actual game. It's cool. It was a cool little trailer.
We've seen the game. We've also go watch our stream. Go watch our stream. You've seen the game.
If you've not seen the game, go watch our
Pixel
Legends.
Pixel_Legends just to see Ethan's great reaction when we finally get into a game. Watch the 5 seconds and then you're good. That's the rest of the video is fine at that point.
I'll say it was a good trailer for not showing any gameplay trailer.
Yeah, it was
Those
fun.
can usually be really bad, and this was at least entertaining.
This one was neat. But then Nintendo went crazy and released all the indie games.
Or at least announced a bunch of them. I'm not sure all of these are out yet, but there's a bunch of new indie games, a bunch of remastered indie games. Nintendo loves them. First, we have Lightfall, which is a stylish-looking 2D platformer. It is one of those like ones where you have a lot of air control and there's like big jumps and there's wall jumps and there's a bunch of spikes
and it's hard.
Those will never catch on.
Too difficult. No one will like them.
Nobody will like that. What are we going backwards? Nobody wants to play a platformer not in 3D.
Yeah. Everyone really loved those 3D ones.
3D platforming is where it's at.
We've come so full.
Shadows of the Empire.
We've come so full on that like 3D platformers are coming back.
They're coming back.
3D platformers were like no one likes those, and like now they're like everyone loves 3D platformers.
Hat in Time, Yooka-Laylee.
I want to play Hat in Time. It's on my wish list, and I want to play Yooka-Laylee.
I do want to play
Yooka-Laylee. But I do want to play it. Next we had Bomb Chicken.
Speaking of platformers,
Bomb Chicken.
Bomb Chicken looks dope.
This game looks cool. I like it. You're a chicken. You lay bombs instead of eggs, and then you can kick them like Bomberman. But then you can also like lay multiple ones, and then that stack like makes you go up higher.
It seems like you can't jump in this game. You can only lay bombs, which will then like bump you up in.
And you can like kick the bombs, and it seems like you can, if you drop down on top of an enemy, you will bounce back up off of them as well. So there looks like a lot of. It's a game that looks like it is easy to learn but difficult to master.
Whoa.
With a platformer?
It is a platformer.
It's kind of like Bomberman, but 2D vertical.
Like 2D vertical instead of like going through the maze.
The Messenger. Which I hadn't realized I've seen a trailer for when I put this on, but it's coming to Switch.
And it's a new trailer.
It is a new trailer, and it is like Ninja Gaiden, the old NES ones, but it looks like it has a little bit more of a Zelda like world design, or maybe a Metroidvania world design.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like initially it kind of looks like the art style is well realized, but it doesn't like it's not necessarily that attractive looking of a game off the.
I wouldn't say it's not attractive. It's just not very distinctive.
Yes, it definitely looks like a lot of different games.
Yeah.
But then when they were showing a lot of the upgrades for your ninja and the way you can interact with both enemies and the environment with it looked pretty cool. Like gliding and then bouncing off enemies and then using like kind of like a Bionic Commando style like grappling hook to swing and like attach to platforms and stuff. Seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, there's also they show at the very end. They show a thing where it like transforms into a 16-bit art style, which looks like a lot more detailed. And the description in the YouTube video actually mentions something about that too. But I don't know what that actually like means gameplay wise. Like if that's just an art change or if something actually changes when you do that. Because it says 8-bit platformer turns into a 16-bit platformer or something like that in the like description. So there's also silly bosses. Let's not forget.
Oh,
silly bosses. Like they showed a man who had a long cloak and his back was to you, and then he floated down, and when he landed on the floor, the cloak like kept crinkling, and then he turned around and it's like, oh, he was really short. His cloak was just really long. Wasn't that silly? Wasn't that just silly? Yeah, but it looks pretty neat. This is published by Devolver. I don't know who's developing it.
Sabotage,
yeah.
Do we know what?
Not familiar.
I've never heard of them before. This might be one of their first games.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I don't think it looks like a bad game. Just looks very simple.
Yes. Speaking of very simple, West of Loathing.
Yes.
This is
from. This game much more simple than that.
This is from. Apparently, this is a sequel to
Fear of Loathing. I think it's Fear of Loathing. I think it's the name of the
Kingdom of Loathing.
Kingdom of
Loathing. That's right. Kingdom of Loathing. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
This game came out last year.
Rango is a sequel to Fear and Loathing.
That's true.
This is a sequel. This is a sequel to Rango.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Yes, it is it is one of these comedy games. So the art style is bad, and I think this is one of those games like people are gonna dislike it off the bat for the game. For the art style. Sorry. For the game.
They're gonna dislike it right off the bat because of the game.
But I feel like that's gonna definitely be attractive for some people, but like it's definitely not. I think it knows. It's not like it's going like, look how good our art is. I'm like, and for what it's worth, I think it is, for being stick figures and stuff, it seems to have a lot of like background detail and things like that in terms of.
Ricardo doesn't look convinced.
I kept trying, like, waiting for it to kind of like grow on me, like these stick figures and stuff, but it's just like at some point I was just like, man, this game just looks ugly. Like I don't even find myself like super superficial about games like looks that way in a certain way, and to an extent, but like this one it was off-putting to me. But that's just me.
I'm not gonna with you.
I think Amber agrees too.
Yeah, like it wasn't like, I don't know if it was off-putting to me. It just didn't pull me in, I think, and the art style was part of that result. I'm like, I'm fine.
I've heard lots of good things about the writing in this game.
Yeah, I've heard it's really funny.
But it is a little tough to swallow, that art style.
Ethan, why don't you tell us the entire time on the stream that Amber and I's portrait looks like the worst thing ever because it's just half of our bodies and heads.
Although you can see almost fully of our puppy.
You can see all puppy though.
Well, it's only on this version. It's only when I'm playing the trailer trash.
Oh, okay.
Well, sorry, everyone.
That's only in the morning.
It's only in the mornings. All right, next game.
Moving on. Lumine, more games that are remastered because West
Lumine.
Lumine. Will you be Lumine?
When you need to like light up a room in Harry Potter, you go like Lumine.
This game, everybody loves it. I've never played it before.
Me either. I want to play it, so I'm okay. I will try it.
Yeah, now I kind of want to play it.
Get a Switch.
I think it's supposedly coming for everything.
Yeah, it is.
No, just Switch. No, just Switch.
No, it's coming up more. But anyway.
No, just Switch.
Anyway, that game was cool. It's that again. Same music.
Woo! It's that again. It's the first one though. That's the one that everyone says is like the best. I don't really know much about Lumines games, but
it's like a puzzle game, bro, and there's cool music.
Cool music. That's all you need to know.
There's different skins and stuff. I don't know. Lumines.
You know what else is cool?
What?
Pools are cool.
Pools are cool.
It's cool in this pool, but I get real stressed out at the pool.
Do you?
Yeah, I panic. There's a pool panic. That's a great segue that I just did into the next trailer, which is called Pool Panic.
Pool Panic. It tells you
the game reminds you about several times.
It actually was stressing me out watching that trailer.
The art style in this game looks really good, though. I like it.
It does a great job.
When the Adult Swim logo came up at the end, I was like, "Oh, now that makes perfect sense."
It does a great job of showing like where Cuphead does a perfect job of showing like 1930s cartoons. This is like a great job of 2000, late
2000s
of cartoons on like Adult Swim. It's like that's the perfect art style. They nailed it.
Yep.
But
it reminded me a lot of Rock of Ages, which is the Monty Python art style, like perfectly like made into a game. This is exactly like modern Adult Swim made into a game.
Speaking of which, did Rock of Ages 2 come out?
Yep.
Yeah, it did. It was apparently good. It was apparently more Rock of Ages.
I feel like that, just like the first Rock of Ages, like I was very excited when it was coming out, and then when it came out, I was unaware, and then it just was like,
just like those boulders,
like a rolling stone. But yeah,
Pool was fun. I remember playing that.
Pool Panic looked very Golf Story, as in that it's like you
play all these levels, like walk the overworld and
use pool to solve issues instead of golf.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But you are physically a
white cue ball, or maybe you're the stick. Who knows what you are?
Oh yeah, maybe you are the stick.
Ah, someone in the chat say Rock of Ages made their eyes bleed.
Well, then you don't have.
You don't deserve it.
Ban that person.
You're the reason why we can't have nice things.
No.
Sorry.
To be fair, the thing I heard about Rock of Ages 2 is that it was very similar.
We're playing the next turn. We're not even time.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I messed up. I got distracted.
Rock of Ages is great.
Pode.
Pode. I went to Japan and they have podes in every toilet.
I have a pode in my house.
Is pod racing. Hey, you want to be two cute little characters?
Let's try holding hands. That's a neat trick.
Hold hands. You combine your powers. One is a little sun man's. The other man's is a little rock man's. Maybe they're not mans. Maybe they're gender fluid. Who knows what's going on?
They're adorable though.
Oh, when I was watching this, it reminded me of because you guys kept mentioning Kirby. Somebody kept yelling out Kirby.
Oh, I did. That was
Kirby.
And it reminded me of listening to Dan Reichert talk about Star Allies and about how like
the kiss
or whatever.
This is the whole thing. That's like been around forever.
I was gonna say that's been like since like Superstar Saga.
Yeah.
Like if you have more health than your little partner, you can go over and you give a little kiss, and then they get more health.
Yep.
Or whatever. But he was like, you eat a hot dog, and then he's like got the hot dog in his mouth, and then he's like spitting food, and it's like, that's not how it happens at all. What are you talking about?
The kiss.
Also, our Twitch commenter said that that's actually a compliment that made their eyes bleed. So.
Oh, I forgot that that's a thing that people say.
Okay.
I apologize. Next
Still ban them.
All right, you're back in. You're back in, next director.
Yes.
It's very cute.
It looks very, very cute.
It looks very cute. It's also co-op. All the cutest games are co-op these days. Everybody's doing it. Sea of Thieves is co-op.
Army of Two.
Army of Two is co-op.
A Way Out.
Way Out is co-op. Pode is co-op. Garage, not co-op.
Garage.
It's a garage.
Garage.
You guys like Hotline Miami style, but less fast-paced with zombies and like survival elements?
Nope, not at all.
I don't think so.
That's this game
like some of those things. Not most of them though.
I mean, I don't think we would say that. I don't think this game looks like awful. It just like the trailer is not the most convincing thing ever.
I don't think it looks bad. It's just very like what how do I put this? Like it
didn't sell me, I guess.
It doesn't. Yeah. It's like you said with the Hotline Miami, but it kind of like weirdly skews that art style to a certain degree. Like the explosions feel like they're weirdly out of place in some way. Obviously it might not be going for exactly that, but
no, I don't think it's going for like a 1-to-1 on Hotline Miami kind of situation.
Definitely heavily influenced by it.
Or at least, definitely like the top-down style and the dual joystick kind of setup here is 100% of that. I will say this. For a game that when I first saw the like description for it I thought was about zombies like solely, there were multiple types of enemy in there that were interesting. Yeah. There's even that part where you're in like the arena and there's like this everyone's freaking like watching this you fight this like Thunderdome-esque like tank dude with flamethrower jets and like okay. There's more things going on here than just.
And then there's a weird, whimsical scene where you chop a zombie's head off, and it runs away.
Go. And then the last art style like
is real bad. Very bad.
Oh yeah. Ethan was very upset by
that. Art style reminds me of like like a bad board game art.
Like Last Night on Earth style.
Yeah. Last Night on Earth is like not even the worst game, but it kind of is at the same time. I don't know how to describe it. Last Night on Earth is like fun, but then you like think about the rules and the concept, and you're like, this actually doesn't like work the best as much as it like is a fun idea.
What's the other zombie game that uses like the real life?
That's it.
People's.
The
board game.
The snow one. The one in the snow.
Legacy?
No.
No.
We're talking about the real pictures. Yeah, it's Last Night on Earth. And it's real people, and it has a soundtrack,
That's the one I was talking about originally, but what's the one in the snow?
Oh, the Dead of Winter.
Pandemic?
Dead of Winter.
That's the good one.
That's the good one.
Yeah, Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter is the good one. Last Light on Earth is the one that's like, oh, this sounds fun, and then like, it's not actually that bad. We were having fun playing it, but then you kind of think about it, and like, this is not that.
Light on Earth is bad, man.
Yeah, you really hate it.
Dead of Winter
is great. I only put that the one time, and we almost won, and then Brandon like didn't do anything and still won as a traitor somehow at the very end, like last turn.
Stream commenter Next Director wants to know, what do you guys think about the indie game The Last Night? That was the one that had a very cool,
is it the milkshake
I think, Blade Runner style.
Oh yes, that was the one where that was the one that the designer got like panned a lot for being a potential Gamergate apologist.
Yeah.
We talked about that. If you do check out our podcast, we did talk about that
way back in the
day when the
trailer got first announced
back at E3. And we all agreed the game looked really cool.
The art style looks cool. That's like the best pixel art I've seen.
It's just kind of difficult to remove the game from
a small game like that from its development.
The developer, so
remove the art from the artist, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of fell off of it, and especially with so many great games coming out and stuff at that time as well.
Did it ever come out? Is it out?
I don't know.
No, it's not out. It's not out
yet. So
I am very curious to see kind of like how everyone reviews it.
For sure, yeah. I think like I won't like necessarily ignore it, but I'll keep that in mind.
Everything just kind of left kind of a sour taste in our mouths from.
Is it just the Bud Light?
And it's not just the Bud Light.
Which only leaves a sweet taste of beautiful, crisp beer with a less calorie.
Made from the Rockies or something.
That's the core light.
Dilly Dally.
I don't remember.
What about Bud Light Platinum? Anyway.
A Lime-A-Rita?
You want to drink some Platties?
Last trailer, The Mark of the Ninja. You've known it, you've loved it.
This trailer sucks.
Okay.
The trailer's just fine, but I got really excited when I realized what it was because I love Mark of the Ninja. Mark of the Ninja is fantastic.
Mark of the Ninja is so good.
I played like 2 seconds of it.
I love Mark the Ninja.
And I'm ready to play more.
It's like a game. I think it's one of the few stealth games where it's like the stealth is very easily spelled out for you visually, and you get a great picture of the entire like thing pretty much of what you're dealing with, and then you execute, and basically it's how you're executing it and your creativity is like deems your success. It's not like, oh, I didn't see that guy there because like or whatever. It unlike a lot of first person, even third person stealth
2D,
games.
being 2D really makes this game work way better than if it was not.
Absolutely. So,
I feel like a lot of games tried to not copy Mark and the Ninja, but tried to like capitalize on kind of this 2D side scrolling
and it had
levels. And
it had the whole idea of like, okay, I'm in an event, my vision of what this room is going to be like what this room looks like is going to be kind of like limited to sounds happening in the room and whatever, unless I peek my head out like through the vent, and then I can see the portions of the room. And the way that the lighting and stuff in the game worked, depending on your vision, was really cool. It was a really, really cool game. It was probably, I think, is probably Clay's best game. I mean, I know a lot of people like Don't Starve, but
what else did they do?
What was
Shank?
it? Shank
the
1
Shank series?
Oh, right. Okay, yes.
Shank 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Have they made anything since Mark of the Ninja?
Don't Starve.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Don't Starve.
Right,
Starve Together.
Yeah.
I think there might be a third version of that now at this point. Like a lot of game studios, they found the title that got them the most success and sales, and was like, let's go with that.
Let's just do this forever.
Doing this. But I'm glad they're re-releasing this on Switch. That seems like Switch seems like a good platform for most of these like kind of smaller indie games, but that will be fun to play.
what do we think wins this week's trailer trash?
After Party.
After Party is pretty good. I think A Way Out looked pretty good.
Yeah.
The Sea of Thieves trailer is interesting. I don't think it
probably doesn't win.
Pretty good trailers this week.
Fun trailer, yeah.
Yeah, some good trailers this week. Even the ones that weren't like the best, I were found like the games that like The Messenger, which I don't think I will buy, but I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Or like Pode was like a very
basic
trailer about like what the game mechanics are gonna look like.
Yeah.
But it's
but you hold hands, and that's cute.
You hold
little hold hands, just little hold hands.
Do this like you're like like that. All right, this is getting graphic.
Two married people holding hands on.
There's too many dicks in this podcast.
Well, that's true.
I'm gonna say After Party.
I'm gonna say
After Party.
After Party wins.
I'm a lover of Oxenfree, and this just seems cool and fun.
Hell is cool.
Yeah, the devil's all right.
I want to go to his party. It's gonna be lit because everyone's literally gonna be on fire, so it'll be fine.
Oh,
Yes.
Get it?
Ha!
Got it.
Dude, I'm surprised no person on the marketing team has gotten a hold of that one.
I know.
I think that, judging by the size of that team and the writing that comes out of that team, they like know how dated that will make them sound.
No.
They have pretty believable team dialogue.
Run with it.
This isn't Life is Strange.
The full page ad in Electric Gaming Monthly is gonna say
Electric Gaming Monthly.
Electric Light Orchestra.
Electric gaming, like with like a series of lights that light up and you have to tap them.
Yes. Electric Parade at Disneyland.
It's lit.
When that was going on again, I rewatched it.
You rewatched the
We rewatched it. I was disappointed.
He was super cool.
I was like, man, I remember this being amazing, and I was like,
it is.
And it's just like, oh, I can see the.
Look at all those lights.
See the floats. I can see the Christmas lights, like wires on these floats. They're not even like lit
it's
up.
Not that bad.
You're not supposed to be looking past the lights.
I wasn't trying to. It was just like I could see them. It was there in my face.
All right. I was hoping I would not get upset at the end of this podcast, and yet here we are.
Back to Disneyland.
Yes. No,
God's plan.
God's plan.
every week, if there's a non sequitur, we just need to end a joke real quick.
We don't know. Where to go with it? God's plan.
God's plan every time. All right. Well, that about wraps it up for this week's podcast. Thank you very much for listening and/or watching.
Follow us. Follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on the iTunes. Check out
Twitch, Twitter.
You got Pixel_Legends on Twitter. So we're going live for any of this stuff. We do not have a Yelp. Pixel Legends on Facebook. If you still haven't deleted your Facebook yet at this point.
They're monitoring you. They're tracking you. Get rid of
it. Pixel_Legends on Twitch.tv, and our YouTube page is Pixel Legends with 1 L, I believe.
Yes.
So yeah, check us out. Subscribe and like and follow and blah 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 blah, all the things that you can do on each of those platforms, wherever it is. That's pretty much it. I think that's all I have to say at this point. So thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.